Today, actually, I want to talk about a pressing social issue. It's not nuclear arms, it's not immigration, and it's surprisingly not COVID-19. I'm here to talk about women. I would like to share some statistics and information on the barriers to women entering, staying, and progressing in the sector of ICT and technology in my country, Morocco. In fact, I do not neglect that Morocco has made significant advancements in women's rights since King Mohammed VI's ascension to the throne in 1999. However, Morocco still ranks 137 out of 149 countries, according to the 2018 World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Report, and ranks 141 out of 149 countries in women's economic participation and opportunity. But since today the focus is on ICT sector, let me confess that the sector of ICT is one of those most rapidly growing industries in Morocco. And there is, of course, still that large gender gap in the sector. Women are still underrepresented in the sector. They are making up only a small portion of users, but we cannot deny that the progress has been made in labor force participation in the sector in recent years. ICT is now an increasing, let's say, era of focus for the government. The Moroccan government has introduced the Morocco Digital 2020 strategy. I don't know if you heard about it. With that aim of becoming one of the top performing countries in the MENA region in terms of datacom infrastructure and the ICT business environment. And when I talk about the MENA region, I refer to the grouping of countries situated in and around the Middle East and North Africa. The Moroccan government also launched a comprehensive ICT and education program in 2005. This program provides resources in 4 languages: French, Arabic, English, and Amazigh, which is amazing. And the reason was to enhance accessibility through its national ICT in education online platforms. There is now a similar proportion of ICT graduates among men and women. We have 14.9% of women and 16.6% of men. And a higher proportion of women graduate in business and administration than men, at 31.8% of women compared to 20.2% of men, which is a good thing. Now, talking about mobile phones and the access to it and the use of it, I would say that the mobile phone market in Morocco is highly developed, and phone access is widespread. There exists, of course, gaps in men and women's use of phones, as well as a rural-urban divide. That's something I would not neglect too. For example, in 2013 study found that rural women in Morocco experienced distinct barriers to using mobile phones. And low levels of functional literacy and numeracy were found to be significant contributors to the mobile utility gender gap in rural Berber communities. And the study also found that a complex language environment with communities here in Morocco using both Arabic and Berber dialects and multiple alphabets, as well as those cultural gender related barriers that you all know about, all these things actually limited mobile phone use. We have another challenge, is the concerns about surveillance and the loss of privacy. So these 2 things are also considered as barriers. Now, same thing can be said about internet access. It is generally widespread in Morocco, but there remains a digital divide in urban and rural areas. For example, more than 47% of households had a personal computer or tablet, but 59% in urban areas and only 23% in rural areas. And for now, about 70% of Moroccan households have internet access, but 77.2% in urban areas and 51.3% in rural areas. But the WEF Gender Gap Report found that 62.8% of men use the internet, while only 51.4% of women use internet, which is a big disparity. Now, what we can deduce from what I have just said above is that closing the digital gender divide is a pressing concern. It is still a pressing concern. And the digital divide here refers to, the gap of unequal accessibility and experience for access and use of modern information and communication technologies. And when this gap exists between men and women, it is known as what we call the gender digital divide. Now, coming to the reasons behind this gap, there are many actually. I would say cost, for example. Cost is a bigger barrier for women than for men, where gender income inequalities already exist. Like in Morocco, for example, the income inequalities, is there. We also have those societal traditions and norms, which also, discourage women from embracing technology like their male counterparts. We also have fears over a woman's safety on the internet. And I'm sure that some of other presenters are going to talk about this, women's safety on the internet. Now, negative perceptions of people who work in the sector of ICT and technology is also a reason. Lack of visible female role models in the industry is a reason. A male-dominated workplace is a big reason. We also have when we talk about the male-dominated workplace, that this is intimidating, and it potentially leads to gendered working cultures and practices. We also have that feeling among female employees of not belonging, and in some cases, direct instances of discrimination, of negative assumptions about their competencies on the part of employees and sometimes even clients. They make them feel like they are incompetent. So the gender digital divide that is caused by the mentioned reasons limits economic development in Morocco, unfortunately. Gender inequalities stymies the economic potential of half of a country's population. We are considered half of the population. So limiting our access to information and communication technologies suppresses our ability to innovate and potential to become economically self-sustaining. So if access to ICT is equitable, the expansion of online information and training could serve as a great opportunity for us to increase our economic equality. And if not, of course, the digital divide could widen with time, and gender inequality could increase as economic opportunities for women diminish. And studies, by the way, have already shown that digital divide is widening. Now, according to the International Telecommunication Union, a UN agency focused on information technology, the internet user gap, gender gap in Arab states grew by 5% between 2013 and 2019. And the report also found that across all Arab states, men have an average internet usage of 17.3% higher than women, which is a big number. Now, talking about the divide in Morocco, in my country, 79% of men use the internet, while only 56% of women do. And even for the Middle East, this is a huge disparity. Of 12 Arab countries surveyed, only Tunisia had a larger divide between male and female internet usage rates. And, I would say, unfortunately, it follows that Morocco would have one of the worst gender digital divides in the Arab world. Morocco ranked 143 out of 153 countries in the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Report. What actually that report, what is done in the report is that it is, let's say, a comparison between countries in 4 categories: economic participation and opportunity, educational attainment, health and survival, and potential empowerment. Now, of these topics, Morocco fared worse in economic participation and opportunity, partly because women make up only 35% of Morocco's professional and technical workers, and only 25% of Morocco's total labor force. I mean, sadly. So one intersecting, let's say, factor in this gender gap is the urban-rural divide again. According to Freedom House's Freedom on the Net report, about 38% of Morocco's total population lives in rural areas. In rural parts of the country, access to phone lines and internet is scarce, with only 55% of the rural population reporting that they use the internet. And even if access to the internet, was sadly, let's say, improved in rural regions, illiteracy rates would still be a limiting factor. Because imagine, nearly half of rural Moroccans are illiterate. And the majority of those illiterate people are females. This is an example of how, education level is also an intersecting factor in the gender digital divide. Since a higher educational attainment can lead to training on using the internet, as well as a higher income and ability to afford digital devices. So without, higher educational attainment, it's a bit hard. And what is surprising, in Morocco is that actually girls go to school. They are enrolled in schools in both primary and secondary education. They even get graduated. But sadly, and I can give you an example, 71% of Moroccans feel that a working mother has a negative effect on her children. So even if she graduates, she will have to stay home, if you can say so. So these societal pressures actually prevent women from developing technological skills and negate the positive effect that education would have on internet usage rates for women in other societies. Now, what the government is doing, a lot, actually. The Moroccan government recognizes now the need to develop the country's technology sector and access to internet. So over the past, few years, the Arab Weekly reports that the government has connected, thousands of Moroccan villages to quality broadband telephone and internet connection. And Morocco also has made a lot of collaboration with the United States and many other universities from Morocco in order to establish an interactive digital center. And this happened, I guess, only last year. And that center is considered the first in North Africa and only the second in the MENA region, which is a good thing, actually, which is something we should be proud of. The Moroccan government also believes that this is only the beginning, for their tech sector, let's say. The Agency of Digital Development is leading the effort to make Morocco, let's say, an African technology hub and digitize public services by 2025. By lowering, for example, the cost of digital devices and by providing digital literacy training. Now, so far, they are off to a good start, partially because Morocco's digital development plan has been jump-started by the pandemic, thank God. Now, also last year, the Ministry of Education developed an online platform to record school closures and many other platforms, that were created, online to make, for example, health appointments at public hospitals for those who have, things they want to complain about. So those platforms actually work really well now in Morocco. And these, let's call them government digital initiatives, do not explicitly address the gender gap. That's something true. And there are only few programs solely run by Morocco that address the gender divide. But I believe that Moroccan women still, benefit from these outcomes. Of these programs. Like, for example, the lowering of the cost barrier for technology devices. Also, to create, programs that explicitly address the gender digital divide, the Moroccan government has mainly taken to collaboration with foreign partners, with countries all over the world, organizations from all over the world. They have accepted and they have partnered, with the Moroccan government to open up career centers and training programs targeted at women. And by opening up, technology to women and breaking down those societal norms, I believe that these programs bear the lofty task of making sure that women are not left behind in the digital development revolution, if we can say, that Morocco is working towards. That's why I personally believe that all stakeholders must work together to give women equal access to information and communication technologies. We must provide women better chances to pursue careers in the ICT sector, which is, by the way, showing, a large and growing skills shortage. So we need to work on that. We need to get girls engaged in computing and increasing uptake at school level. We need to make employees and those working, in the sector more aware of the benefits of diversity and family-friendly working practices. So for me, part of the answer, or great part of the answer, lies in education, lies in promoting girls' increased engagement in science, technology, engineering, in mathematics subjects. The governments, with the enterprises, with the companies, with the organizations, also need to be more proactive in helping women thrive in the ICT workforce. There has been some progress, in these eras. As I told you before, I'm not going to neglect that. I'm not going to deny the effort, but we must strive to do more. That's why the event, like the events, like the one we're having today, is a good opportunity to make girls and young women aware of the vast possibilities offered by ICTs and give them the confidence to pursue ICT studies and careers. We must bridge the digital gender divide. We face challenges, in bridging the digital gender divide. That's true. But I think that together we can achieve it because we are our own defender. And that's what we're doing today. So let's believe what Margaret Thatcher has said, which is, I quote, if you want something done, ask a woman. If you want something said, ask a man. So let's believe on ourselves. And thank you very much for your time.